War, Josh.
That's right. They're going to have a Civil War reenactment this weekend. Before we get into that, we're going to give you a little tour. I'm kind of enjoying my first tour of Fort Tejon. Steve Tomey here is with me, Park Ranger. Steve, this building's actually really neat. You do a great job of making it look like how it did back in the 1850s. Describe what this is and what's inside.
Well, this is the quartermaster building. This is where all the supplies and various trades would have been practiced here at the fort. So we have our saddlery shop, our carpenter shop, our blacksmith shop here in the quartermaster building, and we'll just take a look inside.
And this is what it would have looked like in 1854 when it was built, right?
Yeah, this building was probably built in 1856, but the forge would have been one of the first things that they built.
And I see a sign that says blacksmith, and it looks like, wow, we got a wagon, we got a cannon in here.
Yeah, this is our model 1847 mountain howitzer. This could be broken down into three parts. The gun tube, the carriage itself, and then the wheels, and it could be packed on two mules, so you could take this cannon anywhere you went, and it was kind of the big backup for the dragoons. When they needed to go somewhere and have some heavy firepower, this was the thing.
You guys actually fire this off sometimes, don't you?
Yes, we actually we fired this yesterday. We're going to be firing it again today. It's one of the demos we do with the kids for the Living History program, and we have a whole gun drill. In fact, last 4th of July, I got to fire this 16 times. We fired a 32-gun salute for one shot for every state in the Union on the 4th of July, and we'll do that again this year.
This is a big shop. I mean, it's beautiful. It looks like how you would picture it looking, you know, more than 100 years ago. You also tell me that some of the kids actually get the opportunity when they, when they're up here as part of your kids program, they can actually help the blacksmith bend metal. They heat it up right here on the stove.
Yeah, we have our forge here. That's a coal-fired forge, and of course you can't have a dragoon post without a forge because you have to shoe the horses. So that's actually called a farrier. But the blacksmith would have done other tasks, and the Student Living History program, they'll get a chance to make a drill bit, and they'll come in and they'll see the metal get hot. You know, of course we do it in a safe manner. Kids are never really that close to the metal itself, but they'll get a chance to twist it and make their own drill bit. And then any Living History Day, when this is staffed, this is open. People can come in and watch our blacksmith at work and see the different projects that they'll do. And if you want to be a volunteer here at the fort, as a state park volunteer, we have someone that's here that's skilled that can help you learn.
Fill us in about the Civil War reenactment this Sunday.
Well, this Sunday starts at 10 a.m. and at 2, that's when the battles are going on. They'll be out on the main parade ground. At 10 a.m., there'll be a press conference with the President of the United States. Abraham Lincoln will be here.
Oh, cool.
And Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederate States, will also be here as a rebuttal. There will also be the Coronet Army Band that will be playing tunes from the period as the event goes on. There'll be sutlers selling different crafts and artifacts from that period, not artifacts, but reproductions of artifacts from that period. Tin mugs and haversacks and your candle lanterns, all that kind of thing. There'll also be someone selling some food, food vendor. It'll be a good time for everyone. Cool. And you'll pay right there at the entrance station when you come in.
And of course, you can go to parks.ca.gov for more information. But if you love history, especially the Civil War era, this is something you can't miss out on. And it's so close to Bakersfield, and it's right on the verge here of the Kern County, LA County line. So it's very close. Guys, we're just getting started here at Fort Tejon. Stay tuned for more of my guided tour and what you can learn about this Sunday. Civil War reenactment coming up. Guys, back to you.
All right, Josh, thank you. A lot of useful information out there.
Yeah, very good stuff, Josh. You know, my little brother went to Gettysburg College, and that's up at the battlefields there in the Civil War, and every time I go to Gettysburg, there's always reenactors, Confederates.
All morning long.
Oh, it's really cool. I'm outside the actual barracks right now. This building was built in the 1850s, and 150 years later, even after the Army deserted this area, Fort Tejon is a historical landmark. It is really cool. Not only can you come back and kind of see what it may have been like during the Civil War era, they actually try to make it a living experience. And there's actually part of a student living history program, and we actually have some fourth graders on the campus right now, and we have Private, of course I forget your name right off camera, Claggett. Go, they're all dressed up in their 1850s garb. We got Private Claggett and Corporal Deegan. All right, there we go. Now these are actual, first of all, I got to talk about uniforms. This is actually what they would have worn here in the 1850s, right?
That's correct. and they're probably just as comfortable now as they were back then.
Yeah, it's like 100% wool.
It is wool.
I can only imagine.
We do wear undergarments, cotton liners, so it's not all scratchy.
And Corporal, I saw you helped raise a giant flag, and this is actually the flag with the number of stars that corresponds with 1856. Is that right?
Right.
And you actually, kind of got the fourth graders in line. You're very stern and really treating them like little soldiers.
Absolutely. They assume the role of brand new recruits that arrive at this new Army post in the new state of California. And this is our garrison flag, so according to Army regulations, we march out, we form the company, march out, and raise the flag as our first activity of the day. 31 stars being on our garrison flag, the 31st being for the last state we added just 6 years ago, California.
Whether it's the student, living history program or the Civil War reenactments, what's so special about Fort Tejon? Why are you guys so involved?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, we probably have an incredible passion for history, especially American history, and bringing this to life and helping the public understand this cultural resource, help these kids who are going to become voting citizens and active citizens in their society understand their heritage, and that kind of helps them make choices in the future for the country that they're learning about right now.
Private, tell us about the Civil War reenactments. Have you been a part of that? Have you witnessed it? What can people expect if they come out here on Sunday?
Well, we do have Civil War reenactments from time to time. They didn't actually have the Civil War reenactment. They do have the reenactment battles here, but they wouldn't have had it happen back in the day.
Sure.
But it's a great venue, a lot of gunpowder, a lot of smoke, a lot of great folks on the north side and the south side representing.
And again, Private, please, my deepest, sincerest apologies for forgetting your last name, Claggett, Private Claggett. I didn't take my B12 this morning. I got introduced these guys just before we went on camera, but I got it now, and the fourth graders are having a blast. I'm having a blast. You too, at home, can have a blast. Kind of a pun intended right there. The cannon, get it? I don't know. If you come out to the Civil War reenactments on Sunday, you can check out everything, more information at parks.ca.gov. Look up Fort Tejon. Guys, a historical landmark, and they really make it come to life. There's even a campfire. If we can kind of pan over here, LJ. If you look over here behind the barracks, they even have a campfire going with real 1850s military utensils, if you will, like giant pots and pans, and they even make their own coffee here. Like they had to grind their own coffee back in the day. 150 years later, unfortunately, this fort was abandoned in 1864 during the height of the Civil War. They were called back out east to fight the Civil War for the Union, but ever since then, there's only a few more buildings remaining, but they still try to make it come to life. They do a great job with what they're given. Guys, if you're a Civil War history buff, you can't miss out on this coming Sunday. Back to you. Good morning, guys. That's right. Getting a little slice of history, but not only that, it really kind of feels like we're going back in time. You can see the officers' quarters behind me. We took a tour of that at 5 a.m. this morning. We took a tour of the barracks, one of the original buildings here, built in 1854. And all of this, what's really cool is not only can you come visit this any day of the week, and there's a Civil War reenactment on Sunday, but they also have a program for kids called a Student Living History Program. And there's a lot of fourth graders from out of town here, 24-hour period. They kind of experience what it was like to be a Civil War soldier during the Civil War era here at Fort Tejon. Now, Steve Tomey here is with me. Steve, kind of fill us in on what this whole program's like. There may be some teachers watching that be like, oh, that'd be great for my students next year.
Yes, part of the Student Living History Program is to immerse kids into what history was like in the 1850s. So as soon as they get here, they get off the bus, they get issued a jacket, a haversack, a tin cup. They're responsible to take charge of that, keep it clean. They get issued chores or fatigue duties like the soldiers were. We're here in our cooking area, and we just finished cooking breakfast for the crew. We cooked 20 pounds of bacon and 120 eggs, and we've got the bread.
And it's a well-deserved meal because the kids just got done working, doing chores that the soldiers would have had to done 150 years ago.
They were policing the barracks and getting everything folded up and cleaned. And behind me in the cook shed, we have another member of our team. We have Mercedes. Hey, Mercedes.
And Mercedes, you say, is reenacting a laundress, essentially.
Correct. The Army only had two classifications for women, a laundress or a lady. A lady was an officer's wife. A laundress was basically everybody else. Mercedes does all of the behind-the-scenes work. Someone's got to scrub out the cast iron. They have to be seasoned, putting things in place at the right time.
Fill us in on what's happening this Sunday. I mean, that's kind of like everything kind of builds up to the Civil War reenactment. It seems like that's kind of the big draw.
Yeah, that's one of our big draws. We do that with our partner, which is the Fort Tejon Historical Association, and they put on this event. Starts at 10 a.m. We'll have President Lincoln doing his address, and then President Jefferson Davis doing his address on the opposite side. We have a live period correct cornet band, and then we'll have the kickoff battles at 10 and at 2. It's family-friendly fun for the whole day. There'll be settlers here selling different items, many of them period correct reproductions.
If no one's ever been here, just really quick, why should they come out? What's your favorite part about Fort Tejon?
Well, you know, my state park career started here at Fort Tejon, and I think it's just a great spot because it's just full of all kinds of history, from 1836 when Peter LeBec was killed here by a grizzly bear, to the Army period from 1854 to 1864, to the ranch period that took over from 1865 up to basically the modern era until 1930 when it became a state park. So there's a little bit of history all along that, any point in history. Plus, it's just a nice place,
Right.
you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell he's not only a park ranger, he's a walking encyclopedia. He's a historian and an archaeologist as well, right?
Correct.
All right, you can check out, parks.ca.gov for more information about Fort Tejon and their Civil War reenactment, which is happening this Sunday. It's going to be one heck of a time if you're a Civil War history buff. Can't miss this event. We'll be back with one more segment coming up here live from Fort Tejon near Lebec.
Fascinating
Guys, back
stuff,
to you.
Josh. All in our backyard. Thank you very much, Josh.
Good morning, Rob. We're going to give you one last glimpse of Fort Tejon via our tour this morning inside the actual barracks built in the 1850s. Steve Tomey here with me. Steve, this is actually where they slept. They kept their swords. They also got a musketoon. What do we have right here in your hand? Is this pretty much what they would have had?
Yes, this is a model 1840 heavy cavalry saber with a sword knot. You would put your hand through the sword knot, and then you would draw your saber. The saber is not sharpened. It was actually used more like a wrecking bar.
No kidding.
And so you would try and break your opponent's clavicle or shoulder bones.
Oh, my gosh.
So they couldn't stay in the saddle. Another way you would use it is if I'm riding along, I would try and skewer my opponent with a point, and then I would let go of the saber. And as I'm in the saddle, I would let go of the saber, and I would grab my saddle. It's attached to me, so as I ride past, it would actually spin you in your saddle and rip you right off your horse, and then pull the sword out on the way out.
Hopefully they're not doing all that during the Civil War reenactment this Sunday.
No,
Yeah.
not for the reenactment.
This is actually really cool. This building is one of the few original buildings still standing. There used to be 40 buildings here, right? You say close to 40. Now there's only 4 or 5. But let's go ahead and take a step outside and do one final pan in case we have new viewers. I'm sure we do. We've been out here all morning long. I've really enjoyed my tour here. We got a tour of not only the barracks but of the officers' quarters, just right up the trail here. They have the main, I don't know what you call this, like the main cooking campground
area, yeah.
And of course you have the blacksmith shed in the back. If people come out this Sunday or anytime, what should they keep in mind? What should they look forward to?
Well, they should look forward to our self-guided tour if you're on any other work day or average day for the Civil War program that we're having this Sunday starting at 10 a.m. with our address from President Lincoln. You could get a chance to talk to reenactors, talk about and get their passion.
You can actually meet Abraham Lincoln.
You get to meet Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis.
That's really neat.
But you get to talk to some of the reenactors. Some of the reenactors are actually pretty good historians. Some of them are first class. I mean, I have a degree in archaeology. I have a background in historic archaeology. But I've actually learned more by working with other interpreters and reenactors about everyday life as I did digging those sites, because they're into the minutia. They're into the glasses.
Any idea how many soldiers you'll have out here on Sunday?
Not off the top of my head. We'll probably have somewhere about 60 to 100 is my guess.
That's great. For the Confederacy and the Union, right?
Yeah, combined.
All right, Steve, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Guys, if you get the chance, again, the website is parks.ca.gov if you're interested in looking up more information on Fort Tejon. And again, check out more information on their reenactments for the Civil War. Although the Civil War wasn't fought here, obviously, in the 1860s, Fort Tejon became defunct in 1864 because troops had to leave this area to go help the Union fight the Civil War back out east. So ever since then, the fort's been trying to stay alive, and people like Steve, they're making it happen in 2014. Guys, tossing it back to you.
All right, Josh. Perfect timing as well with Memorial Day just a couple of days ago now. Josh Helmuth live at Fort Tejon State Park this morning.